that even though I was riding the Peloton every single day and I was burning all those calories, my body really wasn't changing. I wasn't really seeing much progress. Now, mind you, you have to understand that a Peloton bike and any type of cycling is going to really focus on your lower body. You're not going to get a lot of changes happening in your upper body or your abs or anything like that. Yeah, they have some workouts that you do weights, but it's light weights and stuff like that. But it's really focusing on the lower body, right? Your thighs, your butt, all the things. But what I noticed is that I wasn't really getting any changes. I wasn't really seeing any type of physique changes. I wasn't really seeing any changes on the scale. It was actually the opposite, where I was seeing the scale go up. And what would happen is after my rides, I would feel bloated and like I had swelling. My fingers were swelling. And yes, I know that's common with cardio in general, like the water retention, but mine was almost uncomfortable and it was a little weird for me. And I also noticed one thing that was strange to me, where there were days that I couldn't even like maintain any type of cadence or resistance. If you're familiar with cycling, I was struggling. Like there would be rides that I would like just be dreading them and waiting for it to end. But I kept on pushing myself because in my mind, I was like, you just invested $2,000 for this Peloton bike. A. Two, you're paying $40 a month for the subscription, right? So I felt like I needed to ride it. Now, I don't know about any of you, but I feel like there's two type of women out there. There's women that want to workout equipment and they finally get it and they are obsessed with it for like a month or two, and then it just sits there and collects dust and it becomes another rack for clothing. Okay. Let me know if that's you. Two is you have something and you're obsessed with it, knowing that you bought it, you committed to it, and come hell or high water, you are going to use that thing. No matter what's going on in your life, you're going to use that thing. And that's me. No matter what, I was ignoring all the signs that this is not good for me. And I was pushing myself up until the point where I realized that I was 15 pounds overweight at that time while riding a Peloton, while eating clean keto, and something didn't add up. So that's when I started to see functional medicine doctors and naturopaths and doing all the testing. And what those tests revealed was that I had elevated cortisol levels, which, if you're not familiar with cortisol, it's your body's stress hormone. And when that is elevated, your body goes into a state, flight or fight, right? And that state is like your body's survival mechanism. So it thinks that, you're being chased by a wild animal, and it stops systems. It stops your digestive system. It stops your metabolism, slows things down. So a lot of cortisol, high cortisol, can result to a lot of belly fat. You could be like wired and tired, feeling where you're exhausted, but you're still kind of wired. You're always anxious. Anxiety is a big thing with cortisol. Your, metabolism slows down, all the things. So we need cortisol, right? We need that adrenaline rush. That's what helps us get out of bed, right? If we didn't have the cortisol, we wouldn't be able to get out of bed. But the problem is when it's too high, then it messes up all the other systems in your body, and your body is in this freak out mode and it's so focused on that because it thinks you're like gonna die, that it doesn't do anything else. Now, why I'm talking about the cortisol is because too much cardio, chronic cardio, causes elevated cortisol. So if you think about it, if you already have issues with your cortisol and now you're adding chronic cardio, too much cardio, you're making that worse. You're making your body freak out even more. You're pushing that flight or fight. Okay. So that's what I was doing. So I was getting up in the morning where my cortisol was already elevated first thing in the morning. That's when it was the highest. That's when it's the highest for everyone. So cortisol works like a slope. It starts out really high and it's supposed to gradually decrease as the day goes. All right. So starts up really high in the morning. Your body kind of gets you ready to go and wake up, right? The adrenaline, like, okay, time to get up. And then throughout the day, it's slowly supposed to steep down in a natural way. And then towards bedtime is when it's the lowest. So then your melatonin can kick in, and your melatonin is what helps you go to sleep, right? That's the sleep hormone. Mine was super, super high in the morning, and then it stayed high. So it would be like going down a little bit, but then it always stayed high. So by the time it was nighttime, it was still too elevated for my melatonin to kick in. So naturally, my body was in that chronic fight or flight mode. And I was, instead of losing weight from burning all the calories, right? We think calorie burn equals weight loss. Not when you have issues with your hormones, guys. All right. And I want you to remember that. So I was burning all these calories, eating clean keto, not eating sugar, not eating carbs, but I was gaining weight because my body thought that, we're in danger, danger, danger. Save everything that she's eating. Don't let go of the weight because we don't know if she's going to eat again. So this is a really broad statement, like harsh statement for me to say that the Peloton made me gain weight, because it wasn't the Peloton. Okay. So I'm not going to say I sold my Peloton because it made me gain weight. It's not the Peloton's fault. The Peloton's great. Okay. It is just the Peloton is not for everybody. Okay. Chronic cardio is really the culprit here, not the Peloton bike. So I was continuously riding, right? And making my cortisol worse. Then I finally found out of the whole cortisol thing, but I wasn't really yet, I still don't understand the relationship between cortisol and chronic cardio until my naturopath doctor brought it up and asked me, what does your routine look like? So she asked me, do you work out? Like, what's your workout routine? And I told her my workout routine, be like, oh my gosh, here I am, so proud of myself because I get up and I go on the Peloton and I burn calories. And she asked me, well, how do you feel after the workout? And I'm like, I don't know, good. I don't know. Like, she's like, how do you feel during the workout? And I'm like, sometimes I feel like I can do it. I'm like all about it. And other times I feel like I'm dying. And when is it going to be over? And then she revealed to me that the reason I'm feeling that way is because I am now pushing my body beyond the stress response and making it worse by doing the chronic cardio every day. And then it just hit me, and then I realized it. Like, I am making it worse on my body, on myself, on my weight loss journey, being so frustrated that I'm not getting the results, and I'm riding the Peloton every day, when the Peloton is actually the reason why I'm getting these negative results. And it's like counterintuitive, right? But a part of me could not accept it. Why? Because I had the Peloton, because I was paying for it, because I got it. And I was so gung ho. And I told my husband, I'm going to ride this thing every day. I'm never going to get sick of it. So I had to make that decision. And honestly, it was a very hard decision to make, because when I commit something, I commit all the way. And I still couldn't believe that something like doing cardio was actually detrimental to my health. So, my message here is, if you are considering to get the Peloton bike, or if you're considering any type of cardio, whether it be a treadmill, whether it be just starting running or cycling or anything, I really want you to look at your situation as far as your health goes and ask yourself the question, is this going to be beneficial for me where I am right now, or is this going to be detrimental? What is the reason that I'm doing this, and what are my current circumstances? Because I will tell you, if you are a woman that's struggling with hormones, especially cortisol, and you have like, or thyroid, even with thyroid, I thought that I had issues with my thyroid, and chronic cardio does not pair well with thyroid either, because anything that gives your body more stress, right? Chronic cardio gives your body more stress. So does fasting. So does just stress in general, life stress, lifestyle, all the things, right? So if you are getting this, if you're wanting to get a Peloton because you think that it's going to help you relieve stress, I want you to think about, well, how is it going to relieve stress for me if I have too much stress already? How am I going to use it? And what other things can I do to relieve stress? What might be a better type of workout? So, inside my membership BSP tribe, I'm currently teaching my members about fitness and how to start a fitness routine and the different types of workouts you can do. And one of the things that I'm really trying to teach them is that whatever you choose, you have to look at where you are right now in your life and what is going on, right? You might be in a phase in your life where you're all about the running, right? You have a goal of running a marathon, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's absolutely awesome, and everyone should, that's a great milestone, a bucket thing, a bucket list item to do. But if you're suffering from hormone issues or stress and anxiety, maybe now is not the right time to do that. Okay. If you've just gone through a surgery or you have an injury, maybe you shouldn't be focused on lifting weights right now or doing a CrossFit type of exercise. Maybe you need to do something like yoga or Pilates or low impact. And it's always going to change. Just because you can't have the Peloton bike now doesn't mean you can't ever have it or ever make it work. Okay. But you have to look at what is going on in my life. What is my health situation? What is my body trying to tell me? What does my body need right now? Okay. So here's the thing. If you want to get a Peloton bike and you can share it with someone in your household where even if you're experiencing some issues with your cortisol, at least they'll ride it and whatever, and it's not just going to sit there and collect dust, go for it. But if you're a woman that experiences high levels of stress and you're already stressed out, or you had your cortisol checked and it's really high, or if you have thyroid issues, I would not recommend that you invest in a Peloton right now, because in your mind, you're going to want to be on it because you're going to be paying for it. It's an expensive bike. Then you have to pay for the subscription fee every month. And in your mind, you're going to want to justify, I have to be on this. I have to be on this. And when every time you go on it and push your body to the limit, you're making it worse on yourself. You're actually doing the exact opposite of why you want that bike in the first place. All right. So that is my message about the Peloton bike. I have nothing against it. I think it's great. I think the whole community around it and how popular it's gotten, I think it's fantastic. But you have to be careful, right? Because everybody wants to do what everybody does. Oh, it's popular. Oh, everybody has a Peloton. I want a Peloton. Everybody's doing keto. I want to do keto. But we sometimes don't think, like, is this the right thing for me, for my body at this exact time? So that's what I want you to think about before you put that Peloton on your Christmas list. And in general, cardio. And this is going to be another episode. I am going to be talking about too much cardio as it relates to hormones and weight loss and all the misconceptions, because there's a lot of myths out there about cardio. And I myself did not know it, being an avid runner for over a decade. I was obsessed with cardio, but it actually caused my body more harm than not. And just like everything else, there's, what are you doing? Are you taking it overboard? There's moderation when it comes to cardio. It's okay to do some, but are you pushing your body beyond its limits? Okay, that is the whole premise here. So I want you to think about that when you're thinking about your fitness routine. And this is one question that I get a lot from my community and women in general is, what is the best type of workout? And I think we need to learn to ask better questions. I think the question should be, what is the best type of workout for me right now, where I'm at in my life, with the health issues that I am or am not experiencing, and the goals that I want for myself and my body at this point? All right. When you ask that question, then you can get better answers because the answer really depends on those questions, right? My answer to you, if you ask me that, is I'm going to ask you those three things. And then from there, I can give you a more valid response, right? I can't just say, oh, strength training, oh, hit, oh, cardio, right? There's so many other things that have to play exactly with nutrition as well. So I want you to think about that. And I want you to start approaching it like, well, if everybody else is doing it, does it mean I have to do it too? Because the answer is no, right? You got to find your own path, what works for you, what works for your body, what makes you feel good. All right. So that's what I wanted to share today. I don't hate on the Peloton. I think it's a great piece of equipment and super fun. But I want you to ask yourself those questions before you go and you invest in that.